Hello and welcome to my forest garden project. It is the end of a very cold and wet May. I think a lot of the trees and bushes have been very happy with all the rain, but a lot of the plants are waiting for warmer weather. You can see this patch is filling up. There's some beautiful lupins there. We're hoping to have a whole patch of lupins there in the end. Some of the green beans are coming up. I can't remember what I put here. As the leaves get bigger, I'll find out. Mange too is growing as well. The whole garden is looking a bit more foresty now. Now the grass is growing. Potato tower is doing well. And the potatoes here, they were growing through, so I've put another layer of cut grass on top, which I got from my neighbour, because we just don't have enough cut grass. Down here, you can see potatoes coming out the side. It will be very interesting to see what the yield is. Careful where I walk now. You have this. Our neighbour gave us some of these, called a milk thistle. We've got little plants dotted around all sorts of places. We've got a bit of chard down there. And the grass has grown enough for us to cut pathways. And it was really interesting when I started cutting the pathways around the garden. I realised there were places that we didn't walk, didn't need to be cut. This patch here, this will stay as meadow. We're just going to put a bit of bark around the little plant bits here. But around here, we've put cardboard down and we will bark all this. And we'll find some plants here to make another wind barrier. Look at the red currants here. Look at that. Doing well. Wildflower patch is growing. These potatoes we've only just put in. Our little boxes of annuals are starting to sprout. Clover's coming up. Once it comes up and is a lot stronger, we'll start walking on it to keep it a little bit lower, because of course clover can grow quite tall if it wants to. We walk across here carefully. Look at this. This beautiful flower is a turnip that I left to go to seed. So this here was just a stick last year. I can't remember whether it was a black currant. And probably, yeah, there's a black currant. I can smell it. Taste it in the leaf. I've put peas in there, but they haven't come up yet. It's all the annual plants that are struggling with the lack of heat. Oh, let me show you this up here. Made a little tiny pond for the insects and the birds, and planted some clover around the edge. So it's hanging from a tree. And it's actually right next to this one, which I've been putting birdseed in during the winter and have now slowed down. They get a little bit occasionally to encourage them to go off and forage. But this will be in the shade, so hopefully the water won't evaporate too much. Extremely happy to see the hosta, so we've bought another one for there, and we'll see if we can get some different varieties, and maybe this whole patch can be a hosta patch. We've also got this beautiful, almost fairy-like flower, which is from the primrose family. I have a kale that's going to seed. It's flowers at the moment, so that's brilliant, because when I get the seeds I can then collect them, and then I can sow them in the polytunnel in the autumn, and then I'll have kale to put out again in the spring, like this one. Good strong plants. And here the alfalfa is coming out. So there's some cosmos, I don't know where they came from, and I've put in a couple of marrows. Let me take you here. The elder patch, wow, it's looking really good. Just getting the flowers. I'm very happy to find, we went round the back here, that we have like this wild honeysuckle or clematis, I don't know what it's called, but it's very pretty. And now we've got the fence in which at the end here we left a gap at the bottom for hedgehogs. We can hope. Never seen any sign of hedgehogs. Well, we did, probably about 10 years ago, but not since. We have put in I think this one's a jasmine. It didn't survive where I put it in the garden before, but here's a lot more sheltered from the wind, so we're hoping it'll survive. Look at this, oh, these gorgeous, gorgeous nettles. It's been really hard to switch to the mindset to just leave all this. In the past we thought, oh, weeds, cut them down, but how pretty it looks, and so green. And none of these plants are competing, they're actually helping each other. And just last night I picked tops off the nettles and made a nettle soup that was just so tasty. In fact, I've been eating a lot out of the garden, even though it's been very wet and none of the annuals are up yet. If you look on here, this is the white currant, which is so tall now. Look at that, doubled in size in the last couple of years. Can you see? All of those are going to be white currants. It's going to be so yummy. The rhubarb, because of course it likes a lot of rain, has done really well this year. We're going to be eating some tonight. We're going to make a pathway through here when we clear all this stuff. There's still a lot of building rubble. Some of that's going to go behind the elder there, and we're going to have a decking area. So a lot of that will go around there to level it up. So a pathway through here, which allows the raspberries to spread across here, which they're doing anyway. So as they're happy spreading there, we'll leave them. And there's all sorts of little patches in the garden like this, where I've sown seeds. I don't actually remember what I've sown everywhere, but we'll know when it comes up. Got some mints the other day, from different flavour. This is a pineapple mint, and there's a mint back there that's a wild mint from the forest. It's actually looking more foresty. It's all sorts growing in this patch. Lots of wildflowers, sunflowers, ivy. This is some of the bulbs I put in last year, but I don't know what colour the flowers are going to be when they come out, so that'll be a nice surprise. For a no-dig garden, I've done quite a bit of digging. So I've been digging out this to be the pond, and I came across these roots here. I'm pretty sure they're from the apple tree, but I looked it all up, and if I remove them, because I need to make the pond just a little bit deeper, it's not going to harm the tree because the tree is so far away and they're actually quite small. But I think this is going to be a really nice pond area. Look at the colour of this maple tree. It really wasn't very happy when we had it further down last year, so I moved it. It's settled in here. It's got a little bit more shade, a bit more protection, I think. This area is really shaping up nicely. I keep imagining what it's going to be like when all these trees are like, in a few years' time, say 3 years' time, how big these trees are going to be. How this patch here will really look like a little woodland. This is the small lime. Lots of lovely leaves, and again these can be eaten. And we discovered we have two on here, and one just down there, and they're the copper beeches. And we can let them go to a certain size, and then if we trim the tops, they'll bush out more. It's such a beautiful colour. And then very excited for our new addition, which is some bamboo. This bamboo grew about 2.5 centimetres in diameter, and I think it can grow between 5 and 7 metres. Again, we could just cut the tops if we don't want them that high. We should be able to let it spread where we want, fill in this space here, and we'll be able to harvest in the spring while the little shoots come out. We bought one pot, but it was so well packed we split it into two. Step round the currant over this patch here. So we have a patch here as well, where the sound of the wind when it rustles through the bamboo is going to be lovely. And we will, from next year, we'll start marking the canes with a colour, so we know when they're 3 years old, because after 3 years they're better for cutting for using in the garden. I've put more soil, some of the soil, the nicer soil that came from the pond has been put on here, and there is a kale in there. I'll see what else I can find that would like to grow in there. There's still so much to do. There's so many ideas we have all the time. Oh, look. That's going to be pretty. I haven't actually planted a lot in this space yet. I have got this ready for a tomato because it's actually quite warm in this corner. I need to find something to climb over here. I had an old stool which I used to use when I sold cookies in the market. So that's out here now. And that's got cornichons, gherkins at the bottom, so they'll climb up it. I don't know whether they'll get too hot. I might have to spray it, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes this year. The sage is preparing itself for flowering. this has just gone crazy. And there are strawberry plants in there. Now, whether they're going to get enough sun, I don't know. We decided that we didn't need all this space as grass, so started to put some cardboard here, and it'll come across there. So we've got more garden there. Oh, I know what I did want to show you. Let me cut across. Oh yeah, I know what it was. Last year we bought some very pretty sages. Not sage to eat. This was beautiful. It had beautiful red flowers. If you've been watching the videos, you probably remember it had lots of little pretty flowers. And then across this side, we had a row of blue ones. There is another one up by my hut. Now, the one by my hut seems to have survived, but there's really no life in the others, which is a shame. It was a particularly hard winter, but we're a little bit disappointed. But the other day, I noticed these. Beautiful, beautiful flowers, and I thought, what is this plant? So I looked it up, and it's a wild sage, and you can actually use it in cooking if you want. But it's the same colour as the ones that we bought last year that didn't survive. Now we know this one's going to survive. And there's quite a few plants, so we hope to perhaps move some of them. So we have a long line of blue on the other side of the garden. Oh, we're so happy to see this. I didn't plant this. I don't know where it's come from. And that's the beauty of not seeing. Oh no, there's some leaves there. Look a bit like docked leaves. Pull them out. No, you wait. You just wait to see what happens, what nature's given you. I even discovered that you can eat this sticky cleavers, sticky bud. And I haven't tried it. I need to find out a little bit more about it. If you pop into our website about the forest garden, and at some time I will do a little page about it and how it can be used. It's starting to go over, but beautiful, beautiful quince flowers here. Maybe we'll get a couple of quinces this year. We're also very happy to add horseradish and Chinese mustard, all which are supposed to be hardy perennials. And round here, to grow up here and across the archway, we have, move that plant out of the way, we have a hop. We're not planning on making beer, but it is actually very good for other things too. It's extremely sticky. It's got lots of little fine hairs on it, so it should grow up there really well. Give it a little bit more space. Notice I don't take the plant out, I just push it down, because it'll break down and feed the hop for me. And in this box I've planted beetroot, swede and turnip. Skirret's coming up well as well. One of the skirrets, the other one doesn't look so happy. It was a bit tough on all these plants. But the other thing that's growing a lot of all over the garden, oops, step here carefully, are toadstools mushrooms. Not edible, but they're showing that in the soil there's lots of mycelium, so the network is spreading across the garden, taking goodness from one plant to another. Okay, so it's It's been a bit of a long video today, but there we go. I am pleased to say, especially from here, it is starting to look more like a forest garden. So have a good month, and I'll see you sometime in June.